Hi, it's Tim from Thermoforming Tech, and today's video I want to share with you an amazing thing which happened last week. So I believe many of you guys know Society of Plastics Engineers and their quarterly magazine. And in the second quarter of 2023, they posted our article about throughput-based downtime management. And today I want to share with you some information about this article. In the description to the video, you can find the link and you can read it. It's a really interesting one and one of the things we're really proud of. And in this video, I want to discuss a little bit this downtime throughput management, throughput-based downtime management concept, and what are the benefits for the thermoforming company who is going to use it. Okay, let's get started. So I will open the article here. Of course, the video is not the best place to read it, but I want to make a short overview of the concept first. So the thermoforming productions struggle with the downtime like any other companies do. If you have an equipment and your equipment is planned to run for, 500, 600 hours, depending on your production needs and planning. And then it turns out that you cannot utilize all of these hours. Some things are going not according to the plan. And by the end of the month, you find out that you had less amount of hours which were used for production. And we're not talking about like planned downtime when you don't have the orders or you have scheduled machine maintenance. We're talking about the time which was dedicated for running to create a product, to create the value, and to create something which will be sold and generate the profit for your company, but it was not running because of some reason. So this is the downtime we're talking about. And I know that many companies, they struggle with that, with this problem, finding the ways how to decrease it and fighting with this downtime, like fighting with the fires. But this is like the whole problem where it gets from. The whole concept of fighting with the downtime is the concept of solving problems when they appear and not solving the roots of the problem and not finding the reasons why they appear. And also it's about solving them in a little bit wrong way based on where it hurts more or where people are screaming more. Also, this subject is part of our webinar about throughput-based downtime management, where we really discuss it more deep and we give more examples which are giving an explanation and explain what exactly going on there in this downtime, how they appear, and finding the reasons why it appears there. Because in most of the cases, the reasons are not about the equipment itself. We even have an example which we call Ballad of Bad Equipment or Ballad of Bad Machine. And this is a true story which happened to one customer. Why we already made a video about that. So in many cases, the machines are not running properly. Machines are down or machines are breaking down because they are not managed properly. They are not maintained properly. And this is a big reason of the downtime things which happen. Because usually management cannot focus on everything. Like we know, it's all about the focus and focusing, and it's like the biggest quest for every manager, no matter if you're running the whole company or you're running production, where to put your focus today. So let's imagine that, first of all, what we really do ask our customers when we start to discuss downtime things and how to manage them in a better way, if you really are aware of your downtime, if you do know how much of the downtime did you have last month, last quarter, or last year, and if you don't know and you don't have this thing right now in front of you, then it means that this is not in your focus completely. Maybe it's not your job. But if it is, or if you're a CEO of a company and you run the company, or if you're an owner and you don't know these stats, it means that it's not in your focus and you're not managing it in any way. Maybe just fighting when somebody says, okay, we have this problem with this machine again, let's do something about this. So clarifying how many hours your equipment was down is the first thing. And it's much easier to make calculations not based by the whole factory or the whole production, but by the equipment types. Sometimes it's important to go with the machines, but usually what we say, focus on the machine types and calculate there, because in many cases it's all about the policies. For the same type of equipment, you have the same policies, same indicators for your team, and the same procedures. So calculate the number of hours which were lost in the past period. I don't know if it is a month, as I said before, a quarter, or a year. This is like a first step. And when you do this calculation, then you find out, wow, actually, you lost quite a lot of time. And this 100 hours, 300 hours, like 1,000 hours in 1 year sounds really huge. Because when you buy new equipment and you say, okay, I will run like 500 hours monthly, and then you find out that in 1 year, 1,200 hours, you were not running. So actually, it's like you lost 2 months. And then this is like happens again and again and again. And then we find companies who are having like 5, 6 machines because they don't have enough machine capacity. But when we go a little bit deeper and one step back to see what exactly is going on there with their downtime stats, we see that most of their machines are actually not running and not utilized at the maximum because they always have problems. So number one, think about the hours. And getting this data, getting this information is already something to start fighting with the downtime. Because when you see, oh my God, I have 400 hours lost because of the mold, like in this article, like we bought the mold, we saved some money here and there, we got the mold, and then it turned out that the mold is not giving the proper product, or even worse, mold has a problem which must be fixed by a mold maker. So we either send the mold back or we invite a mold maker to come or to send the parts. So this is something you need to do immediately because, oh my God, it's like 400 hours. Just imagine how much money you could make in 1 month. Almost like 1 month, and you didn't because it was not working. So you start to fight with the downtime based on this information, and it's not managing, but this is like the first step. So if the first step was imagining how much money you lost here or like was not earned by your company, the second step of the downtime management is really calculating the losses in the money. And here you have different options how exactly you do that. Maybe you calculate the real fact that was planned on the machine, which was not produced, and you will calculate, okay, we didn't earn here 2,000, we didn't earn here 5,000. Or maybe you have an average value per hour, or maybe you have average value per kilogram, and you somehow make the calculation. But the more like calculations you make and the more complications you make here, the more far you are from the real situation and the real numbers. So try to take the as close to the reality as possible and try to calculate there. So sooner or later, no matter like which exactly way you choose, but when you switch and you transfer the losses from the hours to the throughput or the value which was not created above your variable costs like material, for example, or whatever you put here, or maybe the profit. So when you put it here and you sum them up, you find out that actually you lost a huge amount of money. And it's not like, oh my God, I could earn so much money here. It's like the real number you see, the real price of this downtime that you had to pay. And then you can calculate on the reasons. You can sort the reasons up. Yeah, here we have just a few of them. Like in the reality, there are much more reasons. And the more reasons you have, the more easy it is to manage later and to spread them up. For example, I know companies who are having like 35, 40 downtime reasons, which they really track down and they separate one from another because there are like different activities on solving them. And also you can calculate in the product weight, which was not produced here. So this is like a first step to the management of the problem, because now you understand how much money was really lost here. And you can focus on the most critical things, like here, for example, or these 45,000. And, you can calculate your statistics and find out which will be your case. But still, this information is not enough for managing downtime reasons. Because when you speak about the business, when you speak about management, it's always about the investment, the earnings, and the return of those investments. And it's really critical to understand how much we will pay to solve this or that reason. And in this article, we describe a case where a company invests some amount of money here and there and decreasing the downtime. So it's much easier to check the article. Honestly, you can, as I told you before, there is a link so you can get there. But imagine that you have like this loss, which cost, 60,000 euros lost, or 60,000 lost value, which you didn't create in your company. And to get them, you need to invest 40,000. So overall, you will get 20,000 extra. And there is another one, which is like 40,000 loss. And you could avoid the situation. You could eliminate this downtime with only 5,000 investment. For sure, like if you really want to manage this thing, it's about like making a matrix on the amount of damage caused by this reason and the cost of the solution. So then you can sort them out in 4 groups, and some of them will become like strategic projects with a big investment and the big change for the company. Some of them will become daily management things which cost nothing and give us small advantages. Some things will become then what we call the dev zone, because it costs a lot to solve and doesn't impact that much. And there will be like focusing projects which really have low cost solution and which affect your profit, your value really high. So this is it. This is the idea. And in this article, we are talking about the throughput, and it is an indicator which we find really amazing for thermoforming productions, because it is a joint indicator which accumulates everything. Material price, number of cavities, like we like the metaphor of the speedometer here, because it's really like managing your thermoforming production, like driving with a speedometer without like having all these indicators, because as you know, this number of cavities, cycle speed, tool efficiency, and all of these like indicators one by one separately, they don't give a clear picture on the income and the value. So this is like a first touch, and of course implementing all of this system is not that easy, because for doing that, like going that way, you have to understand the throughput concept first, and you have to try to implement the concept itself. And this is another big discussion which we really enjoy making with our customers, and we're really trying to provide the best experience on understanding the throughput and implementing it, because it allows to connect many things like machine maintenance, your production, your sales, your procurement, with the final result of the business, of the profit which you get, and the return of the investment, which is the most important thing from the business point of view. But it's really hard sometimes to explain it to the people who work in your company, how they affect it, and it's hard to motivate them to make the decisions and to make the actions which are good for business from the business point of view and the business indicators. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really would like you to go and read this article. It's a really nice one. As I told before, we have a webinar, and we don't have a clear date for this webinar about throughput-based downtime management, but we have a recording of the previous one, and we can send it to you if you request it. Or maybe if we get enough requests for the webinar, we make another one and we will invite you. Just let us know. You can use the links in the description to this video about the webinar, about the throughput-based concept, and about other tools by Thermoforming Tech. And I wish you a great day. Subscribe to our channel, give us a like, check our LinkedIn page, and keep in mind that we are here to help you to focus on the profit-based decisions for your thermoforming production. Stay tuned.